Hey Skills Champions, it's Rachel Unruh at National Skills Coalition here with Katie Spiker. We're back for another edition of Skills on the Hill. Hey Katie.
Hi Rachel.
So yesterday, watched a press conference with Senate Majority Leader Schumer where he said quite a few times, we're not leaving until we do our work. Where is the Senate in terms of getting its work done?
They're moving through. They've been working on the bipartisan infrastructure deal all week. It was slow going this week because of kind of walking very slowly through an amendment process. But Leader Schumer just cut off that amendment process, and they're moving towards voting on the final bipartisan bill in the Senate.
Okay, so let's talk about those amendments. I think folks who are on the NSC email list saw an alert from us earlier this week that one of those amendments was around expanding Pell to high quality short-term programs. So can you tell us what happened there?
That's right. So we sent out a note calling our network to reach out to their members to express how important it was to support high quality short-term training programs as part of this infrastructure package. We talked a little bit last week about how the framework that we saw for this infrastructure package included some funding around digital equity and digital skills, but did not include the kind of comprehensive support for workers being able to access the skills and supports necessary to fill the jobs that would be created under the package. And so Senator Tim Kaine, Virginia, Democrat from Virginia, and Senator Rob Portman, Republican from Ohio, worked together on an amendment consistent with Jobs Act, their bipartisan bill that would have attached to this infrastructure package. This may sound familiar because a couple months ago, we sent a similar note calling people to action around an earlier legislative vehicle on which there was an attempt to attach this Jobs Act amendment to as well. And I think what's really important about recognizing these two things is that it shows the momentum and the impact of the advocacy that folks who are listening today and that our network has been doing for years around the importance of this provision, and a recognition from Senate leadership that the bill is ready to be brought to the floor because they were able to get sign off from leadership on the amendment. And it shows the bipartisan support in that it was led again by the two bipartisan sponsors. So this is something that happened a couple months ago. It was attempted to be included in a bigger package. It happened again this week. And even though it wasn't included in what will likely pass the Senate, it shows the momentum, and there will be a couple other legislative opportunities this year for this agreed upon language to be part of a final deal so that we've made really good momentum in getting Congress to understand the importance of supporting high quality short-term programs and the importance of doing so connected to job creation efforts.
Well, great. It's good to know that there's still momentum and an opportunity to get that passed. So in terms of the infrastructure bill itself, what's going to happen over the weekend? What do you anticipate?
So they'll turn now to voting on this final package. It's likely to pass. Everything seems like there's enough bipartisan support from both Republicans and Democrats to clear the threshold, and the bill will then turn over to the House once it passes the Senate. Once the Senate wraps up their work on this infrastructure bill, they'll start working with a focus completely on the budget reconciliation process. So this is the process that only requires Dems to agree to the funding levels, the $3.5 trillion funding levels that have been proposed. And once they pass that, a budget resolution, the House will come back in session and pass their agreed to $3.5 trillion level two. And at that point, both chambers will turn to figuring out how each committee is going to spend their allocation under that $3.5 trillion. And so a lot of energy will turn to how can those investments go to support the kind of skills training and supports that we hear from network and businesses and workers are critical right now.
Great. Okay, so is there anything that folks watching the Skills Champions in our network can do in the meantime?
Despite the $3.5 trillion price tag, there's no guarantee that the workforce funding levels that we saw proposed from the administration at $100 billion or seen discussed from members of Congress are going to be the actual levels that we would see final funding in under a reconciliation deal. And so now really is the time to be expressing to your members of Congress how important these investments are. Folks can find the link to a letter that we are circulating, and we encourage you to spread it widely and share it with your networks, to sign on to a letter expressing how important that $100 billion investment is right now to ensuring that workers are able to succeed in an inclusive economic recovery and the businesses are able to find the skilled workers that they need.
Great. And we hope as many of you as possible take that step and sign on to the letter. So we'll be back next week to let you know what happened over the weekend and during the week. Katie, thanks.
Thanks, Rachel.